Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. With these words, Carl Jung pointed to a truth that most people spend their lives avoiding. The hidden forces that shape us are often invisible until we dare to look within. And when it comes to sexual attraction, this insight becomes even more unsettling. What if the deepest force driving your relationships is not love, not choice, not even compatibility, but something darker, something hidden in the shadows of your psyche? What if the very people you feel drawn to, the ones who seem irresistible, are not accidents of chemistry, but mirrors of the parts of yourself you have buried, denied, or feared to acknowledge? Attraction, then, is no simple spark. It is the unconscious calling out, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in storms. And here lies a disturbing question. Are you truly choosing who you desire, or is desire choosing you? This is what Carl Jung revealed about sexual attraction, a truth that no one tells you, yet it controls far more of your life, your love, and your destiny than you realize. The intensity of desire often disguises itself as romance, as fate, as some cosmic alignment, but Jung would argue it is the shadow at work, the unclaimed, the unowned, and the unspoken within you, projected onto another person. That is why attraction can feel both intoxicating and terrifying, because you are not just seeing them, you are seeing yourself, or rather, the self you keep locked away. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden psychology of desire, why attraction often feels confusing, even chaotic, and how Jung's insights can change the way you understand love and relationships forever. We'll explore why we are drawn to people who challenge us, why passion often comes hand in hand with conflict, and how facing the dark side of attraction can become a path to self-discovery, growth, and freedom. Because if you can learn to see the shadow for what it is, you can stop being controlled by it, and instead use it as a key to deeper understanding, not only of others, but of yourself. When we speak of sexual attraction, most people immediately reduce it to biology, hormones, or chemistry, as if desire were simply a matter of instinct or genetic survival. But Carl Jung forces us to look deeper into the hidden architecture of the psyche, where the most powerful currents of attraction are not driven by nature alone, but by the unconscious forces we carry within us. To Jung, what pulls us toward another person is often not them at all, but the shadow we've buried inside ourselves, the unacknowledged traits, impulses, and potentials we've either denied or rejected. Think about it. Why are we often magnetically drawn to someone who seems radically different from us, someone with qualities that feel foreign, even dangerous? It is because they embody aspects of our own shadow, the parts of ourselves we cannot easily face. The disciplined man may find himself captivated by the wild, chaotic woman who embodies the freedom he suppresses. The nurturing, selfless woman may fall helplessly in love with the strong, unapologetically selfish man who reflects the assertiveness she has never allowed herself. This isn't coincidence, nor is it mere preference. It is the unconscious seeking balance, calling us toward what we lack. Jung called this dynamic the shadow, not to demonize it, but to remind us that what is hidden has power, and what is denied will find its way into the light, often through desire. But here lies the unsettling truth. Attraction becomes less about who the other person is, and more about what they awaken in us. This is where projection comes in. We take the raw, unmet needs of our inner world and unconsciously project them onto another person, believing that they are the source of our longing, when in reality, they are only its mirror. That electric charge you feel when you look at someone and convince yourself they are the one. Jung would argue that you are not in love with them. You are in love with a piece of yourself that you've hidden away, now illuminated through their presence. This explains why attraction can be so intoxicating, yet also so confusing, because it blurs the line between reality and imagination. We think we're choosing freely, but in truth, the unconscious is pulling the strings. And when you understand this, you begin to see why so many relationships feel fated yet unstable, passionate yet destructive, because they are built on projections that cannot hold forever. So how do you break free from this trap? The first step is awareness. Start watching yourself. Notice what qualities in another person hit you the hardest, what you exaggerate in your mind, what you idealize beyond proportion. Do you find yourself drawn to strength, to mystery, to danger, to tenderness? Ask yourself whether these qualities exist in you, buried and neglected. If you are obsessed with their confidence, perhaps it is your own suppressed confidence calling out. If you are mesmerized by their independence, maybe it is your own unclaimed freedom that you secretly crave. Jung's advice was not to run from these attractions, nor to blindly surrender to them, but to use them as signals, as invitations to meet your shadow face to face. The real work of individuation, the process of becoming whole, is learning to reclaim those parts of yourself, so that attraction stops being a blind compulsion and becomes a conscious recognition. This does not mean attraction disappears. It means it becomes clearer, less deceptive, less bound by fantasy. The people you are drawn to still matter, but now you see them as partners in your growth, not saviors of your emptiness. Desire, in this sense, is both a warning and a guide. If you follow it unconsciously, it enslaves you. But if you follow it with awareness, it reveals the missing pieces of who you are. Once we understand that sexual attraction is not just about chemistry, but about the unconscious speaking through the shadow, the question becomes, what do we do with this knowledge? Most people live unaware of this dynamic, and in that blindness, they become prisoners of their desires. They move from one relationship to another, chasing the same intoxicating spark, only to end up in the same patterns of disappointment, heartbreak, or toxicity. This is what happens when you let attraction lead you blindly. It owns you, and you repeat the same fate over and over again. But Jung offers another path, awareness. Awareness transforms attraction from a trap into a teacher. Instead of asking, "Why do I feel so strongly for this person?" with desperation, you begin to ask, what part of myself is this attraction trying to show me? That single shift changes everything. Suddenly, you are not a victim of desire. You are a student of it. And when you approach attraction with awareness, it becomes less of an obsession and more of a mirror, reflecting your unfinished work, your hidden strengths, and the wounds you still need to heal. This is where psychological balance comes in. Jung never suggested that we should reject desire or suppress it, nor did he tell us to worship it as some divine destiny. His wisdom was to hold the tension in the middle, to neither run from the fire nor burn ourselves in it. Desire is part of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming whole. It is not an enemy, and it is not a savior. It is a signal. When you find yourself deeply attracted to someone, resist the urge to immediately ask, "How can I have them?" And instead ask, "What does this reveal about me?" For example, if you are drawn to someone's ruthless confidence, perhaps it is your own suppressed power that is calling out, waiting to be claimed. If you are magnetized by someone's independence, it may not mean you need them, but rather that your own spirit longs to break free from the cages you've built around it. In this way, desire stops being about possession and starts being about integration. And here is the liberating truth. When you bring this awareness into your relationships, you stop being enslaved by toxic attraction. The same magnetic pull that once dragged you into chaos now becomes a guide toward your own growth. Consider the person who keeps falling for selfish, controlling partners. At first, it seems like a curse, a cruel twist of fate. But if seen through Jung's lens, it may actually be the psyche's way of forcing them to confront their own disowned assertiveness, the power they've been too afraid to claim. Once that lesson is integrated, the attraction loses its compulsive hold, and the cycle breaks. You no longer chase what harms you because you've already claimed within yourself what it represented. This is the hidden alchemy of desire. What once enslaved you can, with awareness, become the very force that frees you. Jung's teaching here is both unsettling and empowering, because it strips away the illusion of romance as mere accident or fate, and instead reveals attraction as one of the deepest psychological teachers you will ever encounter. To live unconsciously is to let it destroy you. To live consciously is to let it transform you. And the choice, ultimately, is yours. In the end, we see that sexual attraction is never just a biological instinct or a random spark of chemistry. It is far more mysterious, far more personal. Attraction is a mirror, reflecting back the hidden corners of our psyche, the shadow we would rather ignore, yet the very shadow that holds the key to our growth. Carl Jung taught us that what we desire most is often what we fear to face within ourselves, and this paradox is why desire feels both intoxicating and unsettling. When you finally understand this, attraction stops being a mystery you chase blindly, and instead becomes a path toward deeper self-knowledge and transformation. That person who stirs something uncontrollable inside you may not simply be the one. They may be the messenger of your own unfinished work. Desire, then, is not an enemy and not a destiny. It is an invitation. The real question is whether you will answer it with awareness or keep running in circles. So, as you leave this video, I want you to ask yourself, what is my attraction trying to reveal about me? Because in that answer lies not only the truth about who you love, but also the truth about who you are becoming.